I will help you rescue your husband, but after that, I'm taking his head to the guild. I want that seat and I want that pension. Kate keeps on me about retiring. This is our little compromise.
If I can get you that seat and save the monarch without killing another villain, will you help us?
Well, I very much like to kill.
We get to break into an OSI dummy co-op.
And kill?
So, hi. Welcome to Venture Bros, a Venture Brothers podcast. We're in season 7, where everything is fucking jinxed, but it's okay. It's not Spanakopita anymore.
Spanakopita!
I know I'm not supposed to say that name, but this is the second time we've recorded this episode.
Yeah!
Which is better than Spanakopita, because that one took 3 tries.
Oh.
So hopefully we're not just jinxing ourselves by saying this. But here we are. Sorry for the other, yet again, long break. I'm going to do my best to finish the show now. But not just in this one episode, but from here on out, we'll have steady episodes until we're done with Venture Brothers, and then we have something totally different. I've decided what it's going to be. It's not a TV show. It is a series. And the only other hint that I'll give you of what it's going to be is that you've probably seen almost all of them. I don't know who's listening, but I'm guessing you've probably seen almost all of them.
Yeah. You're definitely aware of all of them.
You're definitely aware of all of them. Matt doesn't know what I'm talking about at all because he was not privy to this conversation. So, Matt, what do you think it is?
Does it have something to do with a hockey mask?
I wish.
No,
I got
maybe
vetoed
next year.
hard on that one.
Maybe next year.
So, maybe after this one, I'll do that. But I'm really upset that it's not that.
Does it
but
have
I'll say
something
this
to
much.
do
With an article
Rorqual
that you're writing?
Affair? Oh, for God's sake! If you talk about fucking Doctor Who again, that article is not going to happen. And when I'm in LA in March, you're getting punched.
I feel like it's going to happen. Anyhow, I'm Bryan Dressel, your host. With me, as always, is Graham.
Hello.
I'm not done with your nickname yet. Jesus Christ.
Try to jump the shark. Like next week's episode.
Graham, Dr. Girlfriend Mason.
My voice doesn't go that low.
I know. It's really tough to go that low, isn't it?
Hello.
Almost.
And Matt Wandering Spider Dykes.
Hey.
Yay.
Yay.
I'm dead. Thanks.
What?
Thanks. You give me a dead guy. Great.
I mean, he's cool though.
He's a cool dead guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not really. He goes out whimpering.
Got a mustache.
Got his butt.
Yeah, he goes out whimpering and begging though. That's not a good way to go.
Well,
You don't have to do
the
this.
rest of his life.
You don't have to do this.
The rest of his life, he was Wandering Spider.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah. His wife punches Dr. Girlfriend in the face.
That takes balls.
Yeah.
True.
From his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, so maybe I should have gone
In
with
this episode.
Wandering Spider's wife, maybe?
Yeah.
No. Your nickname has always been Wandering Spider. As we all know, as I've called you that every episode. I don't change nicknames.
Nope.
Speaking of Nick,
Names.
who's not here anymore, which is sad, but also very, very happy. Because if you can hear somebody trying to break into the room, my son is like, "What are you doing in there?"
I can hear you. You're in there. I know you are.
But I know we had said Nick will be back, and then he recorded one episode, and now he's no longer here. His entire family has come into town to start the celebration of welcoming life into his life. I don't know how else to phrase that. His wife is very pregnant and due any day now, so he is no longer going to be on Venture Bros. I don't think he'll even come back for the end, because that's right when his son will be born, and having time to record podcasts with a baby is very difficult, as both Graham and I know.
Yes.
So I don't think Nick will be back.
I question his dedication, to be honest.
I mean, I do too,
Have
but
a kid and then get back to us.
yeah, I question his dedication too, but I still think he made the right call.
Yeah, I think his choice will have the most lasting.
That's true.
Difference, people will definitely remember his child more than this podcast. Maybe
That's
I'll
not possible.
go out on a limb. Okay, no.
There's dozens of us. Dozens.
That's true. Yep.
There's actually more than dozens. I found out recently. So
Like
hi
2?
everybody.
Like 2 dozen.
More than 2 dozen.
Wow.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for listening.
Yes.
Because now I can actually.
I felt really famous when I was posting in the posted something in the Venture Brothers Facebook group, and someone says, "Are you the same Matt from the Venture Brothers podcast?" I'm like, "Oh, yes,
Yes.
Yes, I am.
You are the same Matt the Wandering Spider Rex.
Classic nickname.
Classic.
Always love that nickname for you, Matt. It's been a great one for all the years.
Throughout the
Yeah.
years.
But yeah, so big congratulations to Nick. We're all very, very happy for him, and we're hoping his wife the best throughout all of the birthing process,
Yes.
which is a total nightmare. So, good
Yeah.
luck, guys.
Best physical and mental health to all.
Absolutely. Because it's going to be the most horrible, wonderful thing they ever go through.
Yes. Horribly wonderful thing.
Yep. I really hope Nick likes sleeping on couches. It's going to be great. No, let's talk about Venture Brothers. We're here for
Hey,
Venture Brothers.
let's do
Let's
that.
finally do that. We've gotten all the preamble out of the way. I'm doing my best to not make this the only episode before another 5-week break. I think that's everything I can say, right? Right?
Yeah.
Rorqual Affair.
Yeah.
Rorqual Affair. I think I'm saying that right.
Sure. That's
Right.
a good try.
Yeah, season 7, episode 2, second part of the Morphic Trilogy. Great episode all around.
Yeah.
I've now had to watch it twice to record this, and I have to say I enjoyed it more the second time.
Yeah.
Or probably like 15th time if I'm talking like reality. How much
Yeah, it
I've
was like
seen it.
second.
But for this podcast, first time I watched it, I was kind of cold on it. Like if you could listen to our original episode, I'm like, yeah, it was fine. I love these parts. But now watching it this time, I'm like, no, I loved it. It might have been because I watched 2 and 3 together this time, and last time I didn't.
Yep.
But I'll throw out the same disclaimer we did last time of we're going to do our best to just stay on this one episode, but because it is a trilogy that really bleeds into each other, we might accidentally dip a little in the first episode or a little bit of the third episode, but we're going to try to focus on this one. Matt, what do you think? You love it?
I love it. I think of the 3, it's one of my favourites because of all the great moments you've got with Red Death. You've got all the great moments with Blue Morpho / the Monarch. You've got Enrico Matassa's back.
And his story really ends in this episode too, which is also great.
And
For this season that we know of. Yes.
Well, I just meant like his story in this trilogy ends in this one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. If you, like I said, if you listen to last time we tried to record it, I was like, it's fine, but no, I'm into it. It's great.
Yeah.
I'll do a really quick breakdown just so we all know what we're talking about. Jaws. Okay, so let's jump into it. I'll say a little bit more than just Jaws, but that really is the Guild of Calamitous Intent storyline. It's Jaws. They're hunting down the Blue Morpho, a.k.a. Jaws. They have fucking everybody from Jaws in it. They even have Jaws moments, complete with like the opening of Jaws, with finding the wrong shark in Jaws, complete with Brick Frog, everyone's favorite character from Jaws.
Let's get framing bricks.
Let's take flaming pitchforks like from Dracula. That's Frankenstein. I'm telling you, it's Frankenstein. It's the greatest show ever. But the other side of things is the Wide Whale still has the Monarch captured, and he plays a little game with him like, oh, I definitely don't know who you are because you covered your eye sockets.
That's the only way we can tell who each other are, by eye socket. Rocco, who am I? I don't know. Where'd the whale?
Where'd Wide Whale go? So they have that whole thing going on. 21 comes clean to Dr. Mrs. the Monarch, a.k.a. Sheila, a.k.a. every other name she's had throughout the entire show, about them being the Blue Morpho. She agrees to help them get the Monarch out of Wide Whale's custody, so he does get killed. All of that kind of goes down in a really hysterical way. We find out Dr. Dugan was not actually killed when he was shot in the face with a bazooka by the Monarch because he has all the starfish DNA in him and he just grew his head back.
Yep.
He comes back, kind of wags his finger really hard at his brother. Everything just kind of stops in a really great and comedic and somehow satisfying way. And then a building tries to move, and they're all like, oh, well, I guess we should probably deal with that moving building oddity thing. And credits. And then after credits show up, the actual Blue Morpho shows up. And woohoo! I'm out of the doghouse!
Who fucking cares?
Shit. Fucking doghouse.
And that's pretty much everything, right? I was a little loosey-goosey on it, but that's pretty much everything in the episode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So as we're saying, I really, really, really enjoy this episode, but the major thing about it, that from the first time I watched it back when it aired to all the rewatch that I've enjoyed so much, beyond just the constant wonderful Brick Frog moments, because everyone knows I love Brick Frog, it has to be the Jaws references. Like, this show has always done a great job of referencing pop culture. We even did an entire season where our favorite at the end was favorite pop culture references, because they do a great job of it, and they don't really ever shine a light on it too hard, But when they do, they go so over the top. It's like the Aqua Teen Hunger Force Boost Mobile episode, where it's like, if we're gonna shine a light on it, we're gonna shine a fucking light on it. And that's what they do in this episode with Jaws. And Jaws is one of my all-time favorite movies. I think it is a sheer masterpiece. It's so enjoyable. And then seeing my favorite TV show do one of my favorite movies is just like, I'm a kid in a candy store.
Yeah, that's great. And they do it again, as they do everything in the show with such masterfully detail. It's incredible. And we get deeper into Red Death, which is always a great thing.
Oh, anything with more Red Death is great. And even going into season, like episode 3 next week, you get even more Red Death.
Oh yeah.
And but this one is like, I feel like this is the first time we really get to see the sense of humor they're going for with Red Death. Like, they kind of flirted with it the last episode of season 6, and a little bit in the first episode of this, but not really. Was he even in the first episode of this? Am I out of my mind?
No, I don't think he is, because it's all, the first episode's all looking at the ventures themselves.
That's right. Yeah. And that's what
this is sort of taking
like
place at the same time as the first episode.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
it's tough to, like, I warned you, this might happen. But yeah, so you really get like, all right, we have Clancy Brown and we have a wonderful character. Let's just go for it. And man, he is fantastic.
Yeah. And not too much of a pun, but they really flesh out his character. And I love it. We get into his family life and stuff like that a little bit more, and him playing with his daughter and stuff.
And he just seems like a great dad.
Yeah.
Like, just a great dad.
I would love to go to like a comic convention and see someone cosplaying as Red Death in dad mode with the cardigan on.
Oh my god. If I had a little
whole
girl...
family.
Oh,
that
yeah.
would be it. That would be it.
Oh, that would be
Awesome.
amazing. That.
If I had a little girl instead of a boy, I would absolutely do it.
Yep. She asked if you were a princess. I'll ask. Oh no, I work with your dad.
Now go ask your mother if you can have a cupcake.
And he's a good dad. He's a good husband. You know, he's trying to get the pension. You know,
Trying to get the pension, trying not to work as much, although he only works 1 day a year, so...
Well, I mean, he gets involved in his work. I mean...
Oh, yeah. But he doesn't
may-
take his work home with him.
This is true.
Yeah. Thank God.
Yeah, can you imagine? Honey,
Hi.
honey, what have I asked you about bringing dead bodies home? Oh, I'm sorry.
It would be the whole, I've been eating their butts all over again.
But there's just something, like, just so wonderful about Clancy Brown. Like, and I've said it on After the Hype many times, and I've said it on the front row when I've been there talking when we've had a minute. Like, anytime I can talk about Clancy Brown, I will. Because he is just, A, he's the nicest guy ever. He used to come to my Starbucks all the time, and he's the nicest guy ever. And B, he's just so fucking good. Like, he can do a role like The Mandalorian, where he just has, like, a one-off cameo as a big, evil red dude. Or he can do things like this, where he's a big, evil red dude.
I was going to say.
Never mind, he's one-noted.
Red is really all shot throughout his career.
Huh. He also played Mr. Crab, big red dude. Huh.
He was in The Adventures of... Holy shit, why has my mind gone blank of that?
That's a weird show.
Jesus
Adventures of holy shit.
Why is my
I've
mind
written an
gone?
article about this, and
Colin,
it's one of my favourite
why is
films.
it my
Why
mind?
can't I think? Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai across the 8th dimension, and he doesn't wear. There's no red in that. Oh wait a minute, Buckaroo Banzai wears red glasses.
Oh, there you go.
Red is following this man,
Yeah.
but he doesn't-
Shawshank Redemption.
but he wasn't.
No red. It's a very brown movie.
But there's
Brown
blood.
Yeah. So there you go. There's a lot of blood. Ah, fuck.
Yeah.
Clancy Brown, red.
He doesn't wear the red glasses though, because he doesn't play.
That's true.
Buckaroo
That's
Banzai.
true.
But
So there
he's
you go.
near the red glasses.
He's in the
Good
same
save.
in
Good
the
save.
same shot as the red glasses. But anyhow, like joking aside, like he is just a phenomenal actor who you can tell gives his all to whatever part he has. And like he's one of those few actors where you can just see, or in this case hear, how much fun he has with his job, but it doesn't ruin the character. It's not like not to just throw a random dig at Jimmy Fallon, but like when Jimmy Fallon was on SNL and he was having fun, the sketch was ruined because it's like, well, that's just Jimmy Fallon having fun.
Yep.
And Clancy Brown, you
Laughing.
Yeah, breaking and looking at the camera. Jimmy Fallon sucks. I don't know why I was afraid to take a dig at Jimmy Fallon. Fuck that guy.
You're not a middle-aged mother.
Yeah.
So you don't need to love him.
I'm not in his demo.
Yeah.
But that said, like that's what I love about Clancy Brown is you can see how much he loves his work, but it never detracts from the work.
Yeah.
And I think it's really apparent in this one. Like just his moments in this. Like I'm sure Matt will probably save his favorite thing for the end of the episode because it's a very Venture Brothers moment. But like when he's slaughtering everybody in the fucking dummy core. Like that's just such a great thing, and he just nails it. Just when they walk in, he's holding the one dude up by the neck and screaming to some. Ah! Oh, hi.
The lobby is secure.
It's literally that the lift is going up, and you can. It's really well done on the sound of it as well, because you can hear something very faintly, but it's so quick that you don't register it on the first viewing. Then when the lift doors open and you hear him going, ah, you can hear it very faintly as the lift gets up to the floor. But it takes a couple of rewatches to actually pick up on it consciously, because it's very, and you know what's coming. Like on the first view, you don't know what's coming, but like the lift doors open, and he's just there like, ah,
like Jim Carrey doing the screaming sliding door thing. Ah,
yeah.
Oh, it's great.
But then just like the capper on it has to be when do these guys wake up?
Yeah, it's how long do we have until they regain consciousness? It's just
And even at the very end, he was like, here's a thing. It looks like that building across the way is trying to move.
Just so casual.
That building across the street, Ventec Tower?
He did his job. He brought Douglas Dugong into the thing, and now he did his job. He's done. Now he's just going to stare out the window.
But even his job, he came through a fucking window on a flaming horse, dragging a wheelchair behind him, and his only thing was like, sorry, this building's not wheelchair accessible.
Yeah, even though there's elevators. But still.
Capped off with the brilliant line from Dr. Dugong. Oh, that was terrifying.
Terrifying. You've got this big red man on a flaming horse.
Just this big red man on a flaming horse tell me you were going to kill a guy.
No, this is a gun. This is a fake gun. That's we're just playing
Cops and robbers.
All right, now, Rocco, you hide. You want I should hide like this?
You want me to hide on this thing? Serena, hide. Oh my god! All right, so let's move into the wide whale of it all. Because like as much as I like the wide whale will tie more into like the Monarch and 21 and all that sort of stuff, because that's where that all kind of comes together. But the wide whale stuff in this episode I think is great. I like actually getting his backstory. It feels kind of James Bond-esque, which is pretty fun. I also like the whole like the shark nod of like I got some bad shark in me, and his eyes turn black.
The eyes changing thing was really creepy. I remember the first time I saw that, and it was like, whoa. It's good in a sort of like a creepy kind of way. It's really well done. I like that. Little thing a lot.
But it works in a way that's like they've done a really good job, at least in the first couple of episodes here, finally making me be able to like mentally distinguish between Monstroso and Wide Whale. Because like when I'm not watching the show, they really blend together for me in my head. They're just two huge evil dudes with deep voices who don't really have a problem going against guild rules.
Yeah, and they're more established outside the guild than they are in the guild. Like, either as an evil lawyer or just
mob boss.
Mafia boss. And so, yeah, they're very, very similar characters.
Yeah. But this one, I think, because like they're on paper they're similar characters, but their personalities are so different. I didn't really get that much in season 6, and I really get it in the first few episodes here, especially with the backstory and with the whole like the daughter and the brother and all that sort of stuff. I think that really helped split them. Yeah,
and it's a good backstory. It's a solid. I mean, obviously with the Monarch joking like, yeah, I think I've heard this before. The Hulk. That aside, it's unique, you know, kind of for this.
Well, for Venture Brothers, it's very unique.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I love how they tie in Dr. Dugong, and I love how they tie in the Monarch and all of this huge wealth of history between all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, even just as Wide Whale is addressing, Blue Morpho / the Monarch at this point, you're like, whoa, I really hope he's not the Monarch. He doesn't want to be that guy. well, why? Why doesn't he want to be the Punisher? It's beautiful. Like that moment is a wonderful moment.
And it's one of those, I'm not sure if they ever intended it or if it just worked out really well. But either way, I'm kind of on board for it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the flashback with Dr. Dugon's pretty good as well, because unless you've watched that episode recently, there'll be a part in your brain going, I kind of recognise that voice. Why do I recognise that voice? But I didn't straight away think, oh my god, that's Dr. Dugon when I first saw it, because it'd been a while since I'd seen that episode.
I always just think of, what's the actor?
Jimmy Stewart?
Yeah, Jimmy Stewart. I was going to say Jimmy.
Yeah.
That's what I always think. I hear the voice, I'm like, oh, Jimmy Stewart. But then, yeah, I'm like, what? No. Because I did the same thing. Like, when the episode first aired, I'm like, wow, I like they got a Jimmy Stewart voice again. That's pretty cool. Like, didn't they do this before? And then as soon as I have cuttlefish.
Yeah.
Give me the cuttlefish. I can't fucking do this.
I have cuttlefish. I love that. That's scared.
And just with oh, Serena, I'm your uncle. Oh my god, hi. I have an uncle?
Just stop.
I thought he was dead.
But he died like 3 years ago. She's like 16. Or if not, she's older than that. She's in college. She's like in her 20s. Mm-hmm. He didn't die that long ago.
Nope.
See, I've picked up on something here. It's not actually 3 years ago. Because they're like throughout these three parts, they mention stuff that's happened in like the first and second seasons of happening a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember when in the first season where Dr. Orpheus grabs Action Man's hands and says 2 years, 7 months or something like that from a stroke, and then he has a stroke, and then this is the next episode, but
that's in 3.
Yeah, but when he has the stroke, he says a stroke in that same deadpan thing. Like, he's like, oh, it's 2 years, this is how he dies. And there's a few little things of that in there where it's like, it's been like 2 years since season 1.
But here's my... Yeah, I've thought about this before, too, and like I jumped into the Venture Brothers subreddit back when the episode first came out, and everyone is freaking out about that. And maybe I'll save this for next week, but basically... I'll bring it up again next week, so don't worry about it. I'm not going to spoil it too much. But essentially, we all just kind of agreed to go, fuck it.
Yeah.
And that's really the only way you can kind of have fun. Like, there's very few times where Venture Brothers kind of force you to unplug things or just kind of turn your brain off a little bit. But I think that's one of those ones where it's like, you got to let it go. Or otherwise, we're trying to assume that everything in the Venture Brothers happened in like 2.5 years. No.
Well, I mean,
I guess it's possible.
It is possible. They don't do much else.
That's true.
This is their day job.
And it's like the boys have gone from like 14, 15 years old to 18-ish.
18, 19. I mean, that's not, because their IDs in one of their versions where they were 16.
Yeah.
And so 2 years and 7 months is,
I guess it's possible.
Time.
Yeah.
So
I guess it could work. It just seems a little quick.
With this in particular you only thought he was dead for 3 years or whatever, 2.72 or a year and a half or something like that, right? Is that their whole history is longer than that, right?
Yeah.
So he changed, and then Dr. Dugong changed, and then they went separate ways. He became a supervillain, he became a super scientist, and then went into, after that, I guess he went into hiding.
Yeah.
But over that time, you can kind of see he's been a supervillain for longer than 2 years.
Exactly. So it's
he's probably been estranged from his family for that long. So
I always took it as...
Right, you're just using I thought you were dead as just a simple excuse, but more of like, you were dead to me as a family, and it's like, I'm not going to introduce you to an uncle that, 1, I can't find, and 2, that we're not going to have any sort of relationship.
So, like, it's one of those ones where you just kind of agree to forgive it. And like, okay, it works enough.
Yeah.
It works enough for the story beats to work. And, even if it is going to annoy you, you still have Enrique Montasa there, and then you have Viceroy coming in, like, this is not Hank of you at all. Like, so, like...
You're right.
You can get lost in the weeds, but, like, why would you even bother? Because everything that's happening is still amazing.
Yeah.
Thing is, like, it doesn't annoy me, the timeline stuff. The timeline stuff doesn't bug me at all. I just found it interesting with the little references, and I just immediately went, yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that's kind of like where I'm at. Like I said, we'll bring it up again next week, because I feel like that's the better episode of that conversation. Because this one, I don't think the timeline really matters as much because the bigger thing is the Action Man stuff. But what have we missed in this episode? Like, clearly we've missed Monarch stuff, but I didn't really feel like he was the more important thing in this one. It's definitely more Sheila. So we should probably talk a little bit of Sheila, and then we should probably start getting out of this thing. But Sheila in this episode has probably one of my favorite moments for her in the entire series. And it's coupled with Hank from last episode. So Hank in last episode,
bit where she beats
shows
the
up,
crap out of those two guys?
Yeah, exactly. He shows up with the White Whale like, I took care of your guards. And then you see in this episode, no, he fucking didn't. Sheila took them all out, and you just walked over unconscious people and said, I did it. Like, I love Hank a little bit more, which I didn't think was possible, just for that. But ignoring all of that.
That's very Hank of him.
That's very Hank of him. I love that Sheila's kind of getting over her friendship with Gary. Now that her job is getting better, she's getting more prestige. She's like, I don't really need to be friends with my husband's henchmen anymore. So he's like, hey, do you want to rock out? I got killer playlist. And she's like, no. And then you have that moment when they're like together and she's like, oh fuck, we used to be friends. And I was just a total dick to him.
Yep.
I like rocking out. I like killer playlist. And this really kind of sweet moment of like, they don't really shine too bright of a light on it. They don't go too far, but you have like an actual character feeling regret a little bit for being mean to somebody, which is something this show fucking never does.
Especially Sheila too. It's like she's
a
is
villain.
One, that we've built up. As a villain, as
It's a
somebody
very
who's,
human moment as well. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone's done that at some point. Everyone's been in a situation where they've said something, like dismissed something, and like immediately thought, actually, why that was really horrible of me to do. You've had to apologize for things. We've had to apologize for stuff like that before, and it's like doing something like that in this series. It's not something they do. So seeing that in there, it sort of has more of an impact, I think, as well.
Yeah, and it's a scene that I think I kind of breezed over like the first few times I watched it, but this rewatch, it really just kind of punched me. I'm like, that's actually a really, really well handled moment, and they don't stay on it too long. It's not too big of a thing, but it's just a really nice, sweet, as Matt said, human moment. But then you follow that up immediately with her whole like trying to get into the apartment but can't quite do it. She's like, the crazy thing about you guys that you think you're being good guys, so much that you won't attack me when I do this. It's like, I fucking love her. She's so great.
She's incredible.
Yeah.
She's definitely one of, if not my favorite character of the whole series.
I mean, she's got that amazing bit after she's beating up the last guy. He goes, girly, really? And there are people out there who, in that situation, would go, oh, calm down, girly.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, on this whole series rewatch, as we've dived into the podcast, she has gone from like middle pack character, like, oh, I always liked Dr. Girlfriend, who's great, to really high tier. And it's mostly because her arc from, you go all the way back to Phantom Limb's like piece of ass, to where she is now. And it's like, her arc is incredible.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we've said multiple times that she's the most capable character in the whole series, and
she's easily the best villain.
Proved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Proved it time and time again, and to the point where she's now on the council. I mean, who's
in charge of the council?
Yeah, not only on it, but she's the head.
Yeah.
If not acting, but still.
But I think that's pretty much everything in this thing. So we should probably move on to our most favorite thing that only can happen in a Venture Brothers show. Man, I need to figure out a better title for that. I might have had one last week, but we recorded last week 5 weeks ago.
Moment.
Venture Brothers-esque moment?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Maybe? I don't know.
I like it. Matt, you've got yours queued up. Do you want to go?
So it's a conversation between Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch and Red Death. It's Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch says, if I can get you that seat on the council and save the Monarch without killing another villain, will you help us? Red Death goes, I very much like to kill. Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch replies with, we get to break into an OSI dummy cup, and Red Death's response is just, and kill.
And kill.
I just love that. It's like, literally, we get to break into an OSI dummy cup and kill. It's so deadpan, and every time I watch it, it creases me up so much. I've sometimes just Googled it like for a YouTube clip just to watch that scene, and I've shown friends that as a way of saying this is the kind of humor that this show is. Just show them that one little thing, and they go, "Okay, I think I'd like this then."
So mine, of course, has to be a Brick Frog moment because he's not really in a lot of the rest of the season. But oh boy, does he show up in spades in this one. And he's got 2 lines that just... I can't think of another show where these fucking lines could ever possibly happen. So the first one is when they have to shut down all arching. Until they figure out what's going on with the Blue Morpho, all of you are fucking done. It's the same moment from Jaws. Like, nobody can go in the water until we get this shark out of here. Same idea. And Brick Frog does not like this idea. And he screams out into the room, my only skills are brick throwing and frog being. Fucking great.
I knew it was going to be that line as soon as you said it was in the what scene it was in, and because I had that written down, I was looking at that quote as you were, like, before you said it and saying it's going to be this. And I love that quote so much.
Even at the end of that scene too, where they're like, all right, well, let's go get it. Let's go get him. Let's go get the Blue Morpho. He goes, let's get flaming bricks.
He's so good. But the follow-up line and the episode, the only moment in the entirety of season 7, I love season 7, that I had to pause it the first time I watched it because I was laughing too hard and I stopped paying attention, is actually a Phantom Limb line, and it's about Brick Frog.
Yeah.
And it's after they've caught the wrong Blue Morpho, and they're talking about, like, well, it's not the right one. He's like, if we take this away from them, we're going to get energy lasers, acid spit, and a frog throwing a brick at us.
That's true, though. That's true.
It was literally that line that made me go, Brick Frog's my favorite character.
What's great is
it wasn't your favorite character
how
before?
good these characters are.
Oh,
They keep referencing it and keep throwing them in. I mean, with Red Death and, Brick Frog and all these other ones.
I
they
just
know
love how
they're-
Brick Frog was literally just a throwaway line of a guy going, Brick Frog!
Yeah.
Based on a Halloween costume.
Yeah, based on
one
a
of them
childhood
had.
Halloween costume.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Well, so talking about that Jaws-esque moment and Halloween costume, mine is when they catch the shark, said Blue Morpho. And 21 comes up. He's like, "Wait, that's not him. That's not the Blue Morpho. That's just a homeless guy dressed up as Blue Morpho. Like, he's wearing a Halloween mask." I forget. Tunnel vision comes. You're like, "A what?" I just die. Like every time I watch this episode. A what? I just like
And then
have
that sound
I put my
comes
hand
up.
in my head.
That comes up back up at the end credits as well.
Yeah.
It does. It's a beautiful, like, just how beautifully that one word was delivered is incredible. And there's
It's
so
just
much in that. There's so much
yeah.
in that
So
because he is dressed up in a costume. Like, how do they not know what Halloween is? Like, how? I mean, I guess it speaks to his character's title, his tunnel vision. Of,
Yeah.
like, that's just what he does. He's tunnel vision. That is his life. It's his livelihood. That's what he does. He tunnels and things. Doesn't know anything about anything else. To where someone mentions a Halloween mask, totally throws his world into collision with everything else. It's just, it's incredible. I love it so much.
Oh, it's fucking great.
Oh, what?
Oi. So, all in all, I'd say we're all pretty big fans of the second episode of the Morphic Trilogy. But unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. Much like this episode and the Morphic Trilogy next week. Oh boy, are you ready for some answers? Because they are going to ball up a whole bunch of answers and throw them at your face as hard as they can over about 22, 23 minutes. And that's coming next week. When we discuss insert episode title here. I always forget it. It's Morphic episode 3.
Yeah.
Seasons episode 3.
Yep.
Titles.
The third episode.
Third one. The third one. So we'll talk about that next week.
Yep.
Anything to
And
plug
Kill?
coming up? I will plug a game for Nick because I stole his copy and I've been playing it, and it's Jedi Fallen Order.
Wait, he worked on that?
He did. I know he pretty much refused to tell anyone that he did, which is very strange. Nick.
That's Nick,
Why?
though. I mean, didn't
Why?
he do that with the
It is
Assassin's
very
Creed
Nick.
game?
KG Nick. But the game's fantastic, and I know he'd never tell you to play it for some strange reason. I will, because it's fantastic. But as far as us, be sure to turn into After the Hype in February when we come back. We are completely retooling the show. It's going to be a different show. We're still going to call it After the Hype because it still kind of works because everything we're talking about is well after the hype, and I don't feel like rebranding that much. But we're doing, it is going to be filmmakers, and that is all we're talking about from here on out, and we're going to do through their movies. So the first month that we'll be diving into will be the films of Joe Dante. I kind of hinted it in the very last episode of After the Hype, and then I've settled on it literally right now as I'm talking. It was between him and Robert Zemeckis, but I think I'm going to save Zemeckis for October because he has a movie coming out in October and it'll be a little bit more topical. And Joe Dante just feels like the right one to dive into. So we're going to jump 4 weeks, 4 movies. We're going to do something in the very beginning, 2 in the middle, then maybe his most recent, or if I don't want to talk about his most recent because he's done a lot of TV recently, we'll do like something more recent. And we're going to use that for both directors, writers, production designers, cinematographers, editors, actors, you name it. Each month we're going to pull a different job out of the film industry, choose somebody to dive into, and just kind of see how their career spanned.
Can't wait for that Key Grip series.
It's going to be a great one, man. The Dolly Grip
best
episode
boy.
is going to be insane.
I mean, Steadicam operator series would be pretty fun.
That actually would be pretty cool. But that's what I mean. So, like, we've always kind of flirted with the idea of making it more of a filmmakers podcast and just talking about the people who make the films to the films themselves, and now we're actually just going to go for it. And that is going to be our 2020 series, and if we enjoy it, that's going to be our show from now on. And if we don't, we'll jump back into what we used to do before because, you know, we can do whatever we want. It's podcasting.
So your answer was go, and you wagered for it.
Yep.
Go for it.
So that'll be After the Hype starting in February with Joe Dante month, which means we're going to talk some Gremlins at some point, and I'm really excited about it because we're probably going to do Gremlins 2, the first super meta movie. I'm sure it's not the first, but it is definitely crazy meta, and it's so good.
I love Gremlins 2 as well. I don't understand why there are people who hate it. I love it.
Because it's so meta.
Electric Boogaloo.
It is insanely meta, and because of that, people didn't like it, but it's so fucking good.
I mean, the great thing about Gremlins 2 is he had full control of that as well. They basically, the studio was like, yeah, do whatever the hell you want, because they wanted him back to come and do a sequel, because they were chomping at the bit for a Gremlins sequel.
It is very unfiltered Joe Dante. Kind of like when you go to, like, what is it, not the Searchers, Explorers? The one with little Ethan Hawke?
Oh, yeah, Explorers.
Yeah, that was very unfiltered Joe Dante, too. It's like, let's just do a half hour of a fucking alien talking TV quotes, because why not? Because it's boring, Joe Dante. That's why not. But either way, so tune in February for Joe Dante month on ATH, and then all the other podcasts on the ATH network. I, of course, highly recommend. I'll throw a special shout out to Brok and Damage Boost because we're using his system to record Venture Brothers right now, so that we don't have to keep missing fucking episodes. Woo-hoo! So thank you, Brok. Also note taker for this show here. Matt, you plugging anything? What you got coming out article wise?
So 2020, there's quite a few films that are reaching milestone anniversaries. I've got a few ideas coming up. I haven't actually started writing any of them yet. I've written one article so far, but I've had a bit of a mental month so far. So I'm going to try and get back into the swing of writing them. I'm definitely going to write something about Heat, which is 25 years old this year. Phenomenal film, directed by Michael Mann, who is probably my favourite director, just because of how insanely detailed he is about everything.
He bought me a pizza once. It was pretty cool.
Seriously?
Seriously. I worked at a movie theater, and he's like, all right, get a pizza. I'm like, sure. And I start, what he's like, you want one? I was like, seriously? He's like, you're the only person working. You want a pizza? I'm like, sure. He's like, all right, throw another one on the bill. And he bought me a pizza.
That guy's amazing.
Yeah.
Another reason to love him.
Thank you, Mr. Man.
My boss didn't let me eat it, but he bought me a pizza.
Well, the great thing about it, he was a cab driver as well. So I think he's very down to earth and grounded when it comes to stuff like that. And
as long as he's not on set, where apparently he's a goddamn nightmare. But I've never worked with him on set, so
I can imagine that.
I think on set he's very much, from everything I've read about him, he's very much a perfectionist. So he's got to get everything right. So that's why he seems to be a nightmare on set.
That makes
but
sense.
it's just because he's got a very particular vision. And,
Definitely
he's one of the very few directors who will literally just pick up the camera and do it himself because he can't describe how he wants it to look, so he'll just pick it up and do it.
So that's how we got Public Enemies? That's how he wanted that to look?
Yeah.
Zing! Graham, anything?
I like Public Enemies.
Don't watch Public Enemies.
I enjoyed it, to be fair.
It might be a good story. It is the worst shot movie I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Awful.
Well,
Awful.
We all make cinematography mistakes. Hobbit. So,
What do you mean?
Yeah.
GoPros are great. They definitely make you feel like you're in Middle Earth.
Yeah, sure. 48 frames. Fucking 48 frames. You idiot.
Anything to plug?
No.
Cool. So thank you very much for listening. Very happy to be back, and very happy to not jinx ourselves and have no more breaks until the end of Venture Brothers, because I'm definitely not the guy who jinxes himself ever. Smenakopata! Stop saying Smenakopata. Bye!
You want to do a Mad Lib?
And kill.